back to In the Eye. Today your hosts are Olivia Smallridge,
Campbell Bennett.
and our special guest today is...
Mr. Spaulding.
All right. So, before we get into the conversation with Mr. Spaulding, just want to address the elephant in the room.
Yeah.
You guys got us to 25 likes. And now Campbell has to wear her swim cap for this episode. Good job, guys. Good job. So, Campbell, how do you feel?
I feel great. This is amazing. Yeah. And
Okay.
I didn't have to worry about my hair looking good.
I mean, that is true. That
It's
is
covered. So
True.
it could be worse.
Could be.
Could be a lot worse. Could have been.
Could be like my hair.
I could be bald.
I
That would be.
understand.
All right, next episode, if we get 100 likes, Campbell
No.
has to shave her head.
No.
That's awesome. I support that.
No, that is definitely. I'm not agreeing to that. That is no way. There's no amount of likes that it would get for me to do that ever.
Okay, all right. Now, getting into it, Mr. Spaulding, tell us a little bit about your role at the school and ag altogether.
All right, so like I said, my name is Mr. Spaulding. I'm in my third full year of teaching agriculture. I started as a long-term sub, and the school asked me to stay. This was back in, 4 years ago. They asked me to stay until spring break because the agriculture department was missing a teacher. And so I agreed to that, and then during spring break, the admin team got a hold of me again and said, hey, can you carry it out to the rest of the year? And I agreed to. At that point, I really started to kind of appreciate, what high schoolers were doing, as far as the agriculture and the passion they had for the animals and the FFA and stuff. So it kind of drew me back into it.
Yeah, that's really cool. It's crazy how you weren't planning on it and you just kept on going with it.
Yeah, I had no idea. I served 26 years in the Marine Corps. I was fully retired for 3 years, and never in a million years did I think I'd be teaching high school. But here I am, and I love it.
Really?
Yeah, it's awesome.
That's cool. How many animals do you guys have out there?
I'll just run down the roll. We have 2 donkeys, 2 Nigerian dairy goats, a show goat, a show lamb, 2 steers, a heifer, a pig, about 30 chickens, 12 ducks, guinea pig, 2 show chickens, and we just got 6 pin and meat chickens that'll be sold at the fair this year.
Okay.
And a partridge and a pear tree.
The ducks are pretty new though, right?
They are. We actually partnered with Lowe's. At the beginning of the school year, a friend of mine at Lowe's agreed to do what they call a hero project. So they picked somebody in the community that just happened to be us. And we already had the ducks. They're Rural King specials. And so we just needed a habitat for them because they were getting too big for the classroom. So Tim Graff agreed to help us out. And so they brought on all the supplies and a team of experts to help us set it up.
Okay.
I want a duck. Me and
Well,
my
we got
mom
12 down there, so you're more than welcome.
So I can just steal one. You'll be okay with
You
it?
can borrow one.
I'll borrow
Yeah.
it. Yeah, I'm sure my parents will like that at the house.
Oh, they're Peking ducks, so they can be shown at the fair. We're not going to show them this year at the fair just because we're a little bit inexperienced with the ducks, but possibly next year. But the good news about it is, just last week, our female duck started laying eggs. So,
Oh wow.
so we have
Baby ducks.
possibly. We'll see.
Possibly baby ducks.
And our show chickens that we have in the classroom, we just got 9 eggs in the incubator. So we possibly are going to have 9 baby Seabright Bantam chickens. So
Wow, that's really
I've
cool.
never heard of that.
Yeah.
That was a lot.
it was a lot.
That was.
It's
I've
just
never heard
it's
of that.
just a little bit of what I do. So.
Can you tell us a little bit about certifications in ag and stuff like that?
Yeah, so we currently are offering 2 certifications for the upperclassmen. It's agri-technology specialist, and that's an $85 exam, and it's roughly 100 questions. So that's really kind of for more of the soon-to-be course completers, and then more on the freshmen to sophomores. We have agriculture associate. And it surrounds itself with the more basic fundamentals of agriculture, like planting, growing, more on the aquaponics and agriculture and animal science side.
Okay.
You can get scholarships through agriculture, right?
You
Like
can.
FFA.
Yes, you can. And there's many to choose from. The Citrus County Fair accepts a bunch of those, like the Dr. Dumas Scholarship. There's a handful of them out there that kids have to apply for. But we also have for our course completers a Gold Star Scholarship. So it's It's available for kids that complete the course all 3 years, and so it's available to them as well.
Oh wow,
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know about that.
It sounds like the stuff you can do with ag like can open a lot of doors.
I think so. I mean, you have agribusiness, agri-law. So, like myself, 4 years ago, I thought about agriculture just as like, there's a cow, that means hamburger, right? And steaks. There's a farm, like, that's cool, And now I have, and the kids, through teaching, have a better understanding of what exactly it is. Because, I mean, let's be honest, there's not going to be anything in a grocery store without agriculture.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, there's a lot of opportunities from, here in Citrus County all the way up to Tallahassee, being a lobbyist for agriculture. So there's a lot of really good steps, a lot of really great opportunities for young people to go into that field.
Yeah, that is pretty cool.
Are there any field trips you go on for
We do.
agriculture?
Yeah, we do. Actually, we're planning a field trip here before April to go out to M&B Dairy Farm. A good friend of mine, Leon McClellan, owns that, him and his dad. And so we're trying to get our AgriScience Foundation kids out there to that dairy farm. So, yeah. And we do that. We go to state convention for FFA, national convention. There's all types of leadership seminars and conventions that we go to for the FFA officers as well.
That's
That's
cool.
really cool.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
I feel like there's so many things about like agriculture and FFA that kids don't know about.
Yeah, definitely.
There is. There's a lot of opportunity, not just, to have the animals down there. A couple of years back, all they had was a cow and a heifer, and now we have a tremendous amount of animals. So the idea behind that was not everybody can work with the 11 to 1,500 pound, animal. So having the smaller animals gives them an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I remember the first time I saw the donkey out there. I thought that was so cool.
Yeah, so the donkeys came about. A lot of people said we couldn't have donkeys, and I did a little bit of research, and there's nowhere that says we can't have donkeys. And those donkeys have become community favorites. There's families that stop along the fence and feed them apples and carrots, and so they've been really awesome for everybody in the school and outside of the school. So,
That is cool.
and the male's name is Donkey from like Shrek, and then the female's name is Olive. So
Okay,
Yeah.
okay.
That's cute.
So you talked a little bit about like the fair and like scholarships and stuff, and I know you guys do a lot over like spring break. Can you tell us just like a little bit about that?
yeah, so how that basically works is they're called exhibitors. We have a showman team. Each animal typically has up to 3 exhibitors that will take those animals. I'll take those animals that belong to the chapter to the fair. And there's certain days that they have to be in. So they'll have like a barn set up, which all the kids that are showing animals will have to, come there, dust off the cobwebs, put new shavings, make sure everything's set up to welcome the animals in. And then it's just day by day throughout the whole week, really. Rabbits come in, chickens go in, goats, lamb come in, steers go in, the pigs go in, and then, obviously the culmination is, that sale. And the kids make a pretty decent amount of money. So it's an entrepreneurship type project for them. They call it an SAE project, which stands for Supervised Agriculture Experience. And so with my supervision and also their parents' supervision and or friends that have shown animals before, they get the opportunity to start that project, and the finish or the culmination of it is at the fair.
That is cool.
Yeah, it's fun.
It's like full circle moment almost.
That's right. Yeah.
So with so much that you talked about with ag already, just in a couple of minutes, what is your favorite part, you'd say?
So my favorite part probably is just the leadership pull. There's a lot of, as you all know, there's a lot of high schoolers that kind of need some direction. We all do from time to time, right? I'm the old guy in the room, so I still do, and I can admit that. But I think the biggest thing for me, besides agriculture, besides the animals and the FFA, is just the fact of being able to welcome kids into my classroom and to give them a little bit of leadership development, some personal growth. And then if we have time, we'll talk about agriculture. But that's one of the most important things to me.
Yeah, definitely. Building those relationships,
that's right.
definitely.
Yeah.
Especially when they're going through pretty much all 4 years.
Yeah.
That's really important. Yeah.
So it's nice to watch them kind of grow. And some of the kids, like today, actually this week we started safe tractor operations. So I go through this long safety brief with them, and then they have to explain it to me. And then they get an opportunity to drive the tractor about 50 feet from start to finish. So some kids have never seen a tractor, as surprisingly as that is. But for them to be able to explain the safety steps, get on the tractor, and actually perform some of the tasks in that safety program is really really cool. It gives them some confidence.
I think I saw you guys out there actually when I was on my way to school by the tractor,
yeah.
so that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it is fun. It's a good time.
What would you tell to like incoming freshmen like why they should take agriculture?
I think for the same reasons that I explained or alluded to earlier. A lot of times we are guilty of, driving by and seeing cows out in the field and not really appreciating what it takes to get that animal to that point, and then obviously getting it onto the consumer's table to where they can benefit from those things. So I think that before you shy away from agriculture because the intimidation of maybe being around animals that you're not comfortable with or just not having a knowledge base of it, I would say try it. And if it's something that you're not interested in, then obviously don't come back the next year for that class. But I've had a lot of students that put their hand up and said, I don't want to be here. And then my goal is by the end of the year for them to change that opinion.
Yeah, definitely cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
So, you talked about like your favorite part. So, what would you say is the most challenging part?
So I would say probably the most challenging part is what we talked about with the industry certifications. It's not a mandatory thing for the students. So then trying to convince them that, this is equally as important as them passing an EOT in my class. Because there's some benefits to it and that they really kind of can't see just yet, but that industry certification could potentially be the difference between them getting the job or not getting the job. Because those industry professionals know that that isn't a mandatory thing. And for the student to show the initiative to take that and pass it just puts them one up on maybe that student that didn't take that initiative.
Yeah, definitely.
Do you get any so I know what's the DIT thing? What you know what I'm talking about, the certification?
Yeah.
So you get a cord at graduation for that, right?
Yeah.
So do you get anything at graduation
So they'll get
for that?
they get a printed certificate, and I post them on our website on Facebook, the Citrus High Senior FFA plug Facebook page, and so they get that recognition, right? So a lot of times being rewarded or awarded in front of your peers is sometimes better than anything you can put on, right? A cord or anything like that. But yeah, they get a cord. They get recognized for it. All the FFA members at graduation will get an FFA cord that's supplied by the chapter.
Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
What are different careers you can go into with doing agriculture and FFA, all this in high school? What are some big ones that you can go into?
Yeah, so I'll use the example of Representative J.J. Grow. He's known within the community. I mean, if you don't know him, you've probably seen his signs, before he was elected. But he is representing our community well. He was actually a state officer in the FFA. And JJ will go on to talk about how that has really kind of blessed his career and kind of opened up different avenues for him to be successful. But I would just say that, as I mentioned earlier, you have lobbyists that kind of beat that drum for agriculture and agri-law. You have agribusiness, agri-communications, ag mechanics, ag technology. There's just a lot of fields, from the scientist to the person that's actually plowing the fields. So you can wear the white coat or you can wear the Wrangler jeans. And so there's something for everybody in the agriculture field to benefit from. And so I would say probably the biggest message and the biggest takeaway I would want from this podcast and dealing with agriculture is that, don't just look at that field and say there's a cow, that's dinner. Don't just look at the grocery store and see the produce and think, well, that's just easy. It took a lot for it to get there. And I think if everybody can have appreciation of those steps that it took to get to that point, I think people will be a little bit more appreciative of what agriculture is.
Definitely.
Yeah, I feel I would definitely be more appreciative about what I'm eating and where this is coming from.
For sure.
I took ag.
Absolutely.
It also is surprising that you said all the different ways that you can go with ag, because just on the outside looking in, not knowing much about it, I didn't know there were all those different possibilities.
Sure.
So it's cool that it's almost for everyone in a different way.
That's right. Yeah, that's for sure.
I'd kind of be just farmer.
Yeah.
That's,
Well, and that's what people think about.
Yeah.
And same thing I did. Like I told you guys, when I was retired, it was there's dinner, there's produce. But, once you start to kind of, no pun, peel that onion back and really deep dive into what agriculture is, all those things that I've already discussed really start to kind of blossom.
Yeah. That's definitely really cool.
Yeah.
And I definitely think people watching this will, especially, I hope incoming freshmen watch this, because coming in, I don't think we didn't really know anything
No,
about.
we took like all like the basic classes that you would
Yeah.
think like anyone would take.
Yeah.
So it's cool that we're getting to talk to like different programs around the school
Yeah,
and
it's fun.
hopefully spur some curiosity,
Like
or
inspiration,
something.
maybe
Yeah.
almost like
Yeah.
get kids there.
Yeah, so I'll put it back on you guys. So what got you guys started in this podcast? Like, what kind of motivated you all to start this?
Well, funny story. It was Mr. Brooks' idea,
Nice.
and he kind of
He came
like,
to us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he came to us and put it like that. This was all his idea, but he like gave it to us, and he was like, "This is you guys is like do what you want with it."
Nice.
So.
He kind of gave us like the idea, and we just really ran with it. Like the help of Miss Kirby, like I don't know what we would have done, but it turned out better than we could even imagine. I think.
Like we ordered all these like mics and
Yeah.
headphones and like
That's
Now I feel cool. I
Yeah.
don't know.
So do you guys feel like your maybe your confidence and the ability to speak in front of people, like the public speaking, which I didn't mention, by the way, that's another one of our FFA leadership development events that we have, competitions on public speaking and extemporaneous. That took me 3 years to pronounce that. Extemporaneous public speaking and creed speaking is also another thing to build the confidence within the FFA members. So I appreciate what you guys are doing. You seem very confident in what you're doing. But yeah, I was just kind of curious, like kind of what got that ball rolling. And so now you answered that question.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think the fact that I'm wearing this on camera is
Takes some
yeah,
confidence.
takes
Yeah, it
a
does.
little confidence.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt. No
Most
doubt.
kids be like, absolutely not. But it's like, well, I agreed to it. So
Yeah.
And
Well, and
you
it
guys came
showcases
through.
what you do. You're a swimmer, so. Yeah. Okay.
a little bit.
I got you.
Okay, well, this has been a really good conversation.
Yeah, I've enjoyed
I'm
it.
really, really thankful that we've gotten to talk to you about this stuff.
Well, thanks for having me.
Also, before we end,
I don't even know who I'm talking about.
Mr. Ryan's part.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Am I rolling still?
Yeah.
Yeah, so the question was, what are the degrees? And I apologize for not really deep diving into the FFA piece, which is equally important. It's part of our curriculum. But as mentioned before, there are 4 degrees that our students and FFA members can achieve. The first one being the Green Hand degree. But prior to that, if everything works all right with them, while they're in middle school, they can obtain the Discovery degree. And that's kind of like the foundation, right, the base plate for them to kind of like, oh, maybe I want to do this high school thing. And so then they show up to us, and there's a certain prerequisite. They have to apply for it, but there's, like 15 minutes of public speaking or to give a class. They have to do a couple things outside of a typical FFA general meeting. They've got to know some parliamentary procedures, which is kind of the law governing how we vote on things and how we get to spend the money or how they get to spend the money. So you have the Green Hand degree, which is typically your freshman. You have the chapter degree, which is leaning on your sophomore and junior. So once they obtain those 2 things, then it really gets kind of down to the business of the Florida FFA, really kind of looking at all the entrepreneurial type, mathematics behind how much money they've earned and how much money they've invested, and that's the state degree. The state degree is earned and issued to them at the state convention for FFA, which is in Orlando. We go to it every year. And then once they're out of high school, about a year out of high school, they can apply for the American degree, which is the coveted degree of all FFA members. And a very select few people are actually awarded or a recipient of that degree. So those are the 4 degrees. And it takes a lot. It's a lot of community service. By the time they make it to the American degree, they've really kind of fine-tuned and honed in where they want to be as far as an agriculture employee or person. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like a lot goes into that, definitely.
There is a lot. There's a whole lot. A lot of people just see the blue jacket, and it's some random kid walking a steer. But again, just like the appreciation of that steak to table or that broccoli to table, there's a lot that got that kid to the where they're performing in front of a large group of people to sell that animal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what can you do with those 4 degrees? Like,
Well, I think it's it's obviously a leadership build, right? So the quick answer would be if I'm an employer in the agriculture field and I've got said name person A and said name person B, and I'm a former FFA person or I'm a familiar person to the FFA, and that person did all these things and the other person didn't, I'm naturally going to lean to that more qualified person. It's all about taking the initiative, and I think that wins every time. Eventually you run out of talent a little bit. You got to fall back on some of the core values of what got you to your point, right?
Okay, that's cool. So it's really just showing your like initiative and stuff like that.
Dedication, passion.
Dedication. Okay,
Yeah.
that's really cool.
I think I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
like, because
definitely.
I feel like you learn so many like different skills like through it, and I think everyone just thinks like, oh, I don't want to be a farmer, so they don't want to take it because it's. But you don't know how much like goes into it, which I think this is why this podcast is good and talking to like
Absolutely.
you know.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, now we're gonna wrap it up with our important dates for the upcoming week. So Tuesday we have softball home against Chris River, so make sure you guys pop out to that. Thursday the 19th we have softball away at South Sumter, flag football home against Forest, boys tennis away at Hernando, girls tennis home against Hernando, and also Thursday we have the baseball game away at Vanguard. And then ending off the week, the 20th, we have a softball game home against Bellevue. So make sure you guys are showing your support, definitely. But yeah, thank you so much.
Oh,
Thank
pleasure.
you for
Thank you,
coming
guys.
on.
Yeah, I appreciate you doing this.
Yeah, it took a little bit, but I'm glad we eventually worked it out.
That's right.
Definitely.
Thank you, guys.
All right, well, thank you. Oh, wait, we have another special guest? Another special guest?
Special guest on my podcast?
Dream guest on my podcast.
Dream guest on my podcast.
He's coming. Okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay. He's coming here to sit down.
I love it.
Do we look like twins?
Twins.
Like unrecognizable. Like
You accepted the challenge.
I
of
did.
that. I
Who
just
is
don't
who?
know if I could let you go to it by yourself.
I know.
I think it's only
That's leadership right there.
No, you guys did a great job. Great job. Mr. Spaulding, great.
Oh, thanks for the opportunity.
Absolutely, man. You're just scratching the surface too with this
Yes.
program.
Definitely.
Too bad you can't take the podcast on site and see the chickens and the ducks and
We
the
should do
animals.
that.
That would be cool.
Walking
We can get some
podcast.
little
We could
mics.
probably do
That
that.
would
Yeah.
be cool.
Walking podcast.
Farm's always open. We might put you to work down there, but come on down.
Well, my cap is getting tight, so I think we should.
All right. Well, thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys tune in next week. Have a great week.
Thank you.